Welcome to another edition of the BFNL Footy Show. My name's Yeendy, excited to be with you as always, looking ahead to round 4 in the competition. I'm joined by the Messiah, Liam Brady. Thanks for joining us, mate. And fresh off an interleague weekend where I guess the league's still celebrating that great win on Saturday.
Really good effort, I think, Yeendy, to jump out of the blocks and sort of get a reasonably comfortable lead there at sort of midway through the second half there, and then obviously be challenged where Bendigo sort of came right back and took a really, commanding lead there and sort of looked on top of the game, Bendigo, and then Ballarat rather kick a few goals late through the help of Nathan Pring, which was great to see. So, great reward for the coaching staff, in particular Sean O'Loughlin, for the amount of work he's put in, and obviously the players well done as well.
Yeah, it certainly makes up for the disappointing loss from last year as well. And the way reports are going at the moment, we could be up against them again in 2018. But we'll turn our attention to round 4, and we'll talk about the big blockbuster of the round, the McCafe match of the round. That's Bacchus Smash and Melton South, and this is the reigning premiers versus one of the big contenders in 2017.
Yeah, it should be a really good contest. A really big test for Melton South here. They're coming up against a side that, as you said, won last year's premiership and are in pretty good form at the moment, I think, to start the year. So if Melton South can bring away a victory here, it'll certainly show that they're a genuine contender. I just think that at home, I think Bacchus Marsh should be too strong. I think they've got a bit too much class across the field, and they do play the ground at Manly Park very well also. So I think Bacchus Marsh in a tight one.
Now, how would the game sort of play out on Manly Park? Well, I, for one, have been hanging to go down there for a long time. What are the conditions generally like there?
Normally pretty fairly dry sort of ground. The conditions will be pretty good this time of year. I think the sides that can run with the footy, get into the open space and take some bounces, open the game up, will I suppose succeed pretty well on that sort of ground. So look, Bacchus Marsh, do play the ground pretty well, and I think they've got a genuine home ground advantage playing there. So I think the game will be pretty close, but Bacchus Marsh just for me.
Should be an absolute cracker. Next one, Melton v Lake Windaree. Melton coming into this game on the back of getting a win. How do you see their chances against a strong Lakers side?
I think Melton can win this game. They came in at the start of the season hoping to play finals. They had not a great start of the season with a few losses, but they're able to have a really good victory last round against Ballarat on the road. And I think they can. I think if they're to play finals, after losing a couple of games at the start of the year, they probably need to win some games they're not expected to in the second half of the year. We're not to the second half of the year yet, but I think that I think they can probably cause a few upsets at home. And no better way to start than a victory against Lake Windaree at home. Lakers have been pretty good so far this year, as we know. They're they trailed by about 3 or 4 goals at half time last round against East Point, but were able to play some good footy in the second half. So it shows that they're a quality team. But I'm going to tip a bit of an upset here. I think Melton can win this at home.
And I don't think the Lakers haven't been overly convincing this year either.
They've had some patches of really good football, but I think probably to their own admission too, they've been pretty inconsistent at times as well. So yeah, I think Melton can win.
Redan versus Ballarat. This is a mouth-watering clash in itself, because we've seen the best of Ballarat, we've seen the best of Redan. Can the Swans cause a bit of an upset here?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think Redan are just a quality side, and they play pretty well at the City Oval too. Look, Ballarat have been pretty good so far this year. They obviously lost to Melton last round, but they had a really good victory against North City only a couple of weeks ago at the Alfred and Reserve. So it goes to show they can certainly match it with some of the better sides in the competition. But I just think with the way Redan are playing and the fact the game's at the City Oval, I think Redan should win.
Yeah, make the most of the home ground advantage there. Sunbury v East Point. Now, this is a game on paper where Sunbury should win, and I guess we're going to probably put them in the same basket as Melton. There've been a few close games. If they want to challenge for finals, there's certain games they have to win. This is an important one for them because they've been close there this year.
Yeah, it is. Look, Sunbury should win this game, but look, I managed to see East Point's game against Lake Windaree last round, and if East Point can play like they did in the third quarter against Lake Windaree, they can beat anyone, but they just need to be able to put a 4-quarter performance together. They've got a very young group, and that'll happen with young groups. You'll get inconsistent performances throughout a game. And I just think that with the game being down at Sunbury, I think they'll be far too strong for a young, inexperienced East Point team.
And I guess you talk about the young side of East Point. They're playing on a ground that is a lot bigger as well, so the fitness side of things will come into play.
Yeah, it might even help them too, I think. Big open spaces at Clark Oval. They've got a young group who likes to run and carry the footy. They were able to break Lake Wendouree open in the second quarter last round, so they might use that to their advantage on the weekend, and it could certainly help them.
The final game of the round, which will be broadcast live and exclusive on 97.9 FM, we're looking at Sebastopol and Darley.
Yeah, look, this game's at the Marty Bush Reserve, and great to see another game there. We saw the opening of the ground there last week, and it was fantastic. Look, Sebastopol pretty good in different stages throughout the game. I think Darley probably one of the sides to beat at the moment. They're playing some great footy, and I think they'll travel up the highway and get the 4 points here.
Especially with the Graham boys in full flight after sharing the ball around on the weekend.
They're playing well. They certainly played pretty well on the weekend in the interleague game, and I'm sure Sebastopol will have their work cut out, cutting their influence on the game, those two players.
But if you're getting down there, make sure you're listening to 97.9 FM around the ground and around the region. Love the work that the other guys do. They did a good job over the weekend. Thanks so much for joining us this week, Braids, on the BFNL Footy Show, looking ahead to round 4, and we look forward to catching up with you next week.
Thanks, Yeendy.